Hi, this is Mending Mahogany. Thanks for tuning into my channel once again. Please remember to hit the like button, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. So I just needed to make a quick video. I'm not going to say any names because the information is floating all over social media. There was a woman, pastor, prophetess, who was in the pulpit on Sunday. She was using profanity. She was threatening. She was coming after a woman, a prophetess who she called by name, who she felt was coming between or trying to come between her and her husband. There was a packed church who was in agreement with her profanity, who was giving her, she had her amen corner. People were agreeing. Her husband was on the platform laughing. The organist was doing backing her up. And I'm sitting there like, am I really watching what I'm watching? Profanity being used behind the pulpit in the house of God by someone who is a woman of God, and everybody is just going along with it like it's just a regular Sunday morning. Somebody came to that church looking for God, and they didn't find God. They found a woman operating out of her flesh. That's what they found, because there was no spirit of God in that. God was nowhere in that whole scenario that was happening. But what's crazy to me that everyone who was in attendance obviously didn't see that there was anything wrong. I mean, you could hear the congregation, you could see the congregation in agreement, and you could see her husband laughing. And it was just like nobody thought maybe we should cut the live stream. Husband didn't think maybe I need to sit my wife down. Like, it was just a complete circus in the house of God. We as people of God who belong to the four-wall church, because we know that we are the ecclesia, but a lot of us belong to a church. We as the people of God need to be sure of the leadership that we are sitting under. When we go into the house of God, we don't lose our mind. We don't put common sense on the back burner. If I had been in attendance in that church on Sunday, I would have got my purse and went out the back door, or whatever door that I would have went out the nearest door, because I could not have sat there while that woman spewed venom and threats and profanity from the pulpit. I said, everybody knows we're living in the last days. We know that Jesus is soon to return, but so many things are happening just to let you know that he's near, he's coming. We cannot be deceived by the people that we sit under. And as a pastor's wife, as a minister of the gospel, as someone who preaches the gospel, that I was appalled. Me as a fellow woman in ministry, I was like, yo, you're making us all look bad, even though that was her. But I'm just saying, because she held a position as a woman, I felt like she made us all look bad. And you don't bring your personal grievances to the pulpit. There was nobody in her circle who could tell her, you don't need to be preaching today. Sit down. She must have a bunch of yes people around her, because there was no way that she should have been on that platform. And when she went down that road, there should have been somebody to sit her down. We have to make sure that when we get behind the pulpit, we are not bringing our opinions. We're not bringing our feelings. We're not bringing our gripes. We're bringing the gospel. Somebody came to that church on Sunday looking for God, and they surely did not find him. Now, we all know that we're human. Of course, we're human. We make mistakes. But the way that she flowed on that pulpit in her flesh and in profanity and everything that she was doing, it did not seem like she was uncomfortable. It did not seem like she was ashamed. It just seemed like it was business as usual. And then after the service, she posted a picture, a selfie, and said, I sure did. So she felt no remorse about what she did. She felt no remorse. She didn't think it was anything wrong. And apparently the people around her didn't think there was anything wrong, because they allowed it. So we have to be sure of the leadership we're sitting under. We have to be sure of the state of our spirit and our heart before we step before the people of God. You know, there may be times where you're not in a place to preach the word. You're not in a place to lead worship. You're not in a place to teach Bible class. We got to humble ourselves and know where we are because we are responsible. In James, it says, those who are teachers will be held with more responsibility. So we have to know where we are, where we stand. We got to humble ourselves. If we not, I'm not saying you don't preach through, you might not be feeling well, I was so grieved at what I was seeing. I could not believe that this was happening in the house of God. So, people, we must be sharp in the spirit. We must be sharp in the spirit. And we must be mindful of the leadership that we sit under because that affects us. Everything that's from the head runs down. So, that congregation, all that's in her is running down upon them. And it's not a good thing. God's house and God's pulpit is not to be used for threats and profanity and bringing out marital problems. It's not the place for that. And we all know that, but do we really know that? Because if we really knew that, why would this have even taken place? Be sure that you have people in your corner that can tell you the truth about yourself when you can't see it. We need people, women of God, we need people in our corner who can tell us the truth about ourselves when we can't see it. And we need to be humble enough to accept it. Amen. This is Mending Mahogany. Thanks for tuning in. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.